What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. OG here, and it finally happened. Exactly what I said was going to happen for months and months. The system is done. What is the system? STRIKERZ, the creator of UFL, had a system with their skins to continue to make money off of their players. The problem is that system couldn't last because the players were fully maxed up as far as rating goes. And players weren't just going to keep using the same team over and over and over and over. Eventually, they're going to catch on and go, wait a second. This is a vicious cycle. I'm going to keep buying skins. You're going to expire them. I'm going to buy more skins, then more skins. And guess what? I'm sick of using the same players. Every other game is coming out with their new version, and I get to actually team build over there. So for some reason, way back when I left UFL and explained the reasons why, players weren't seeing this. Oh, they'll find something. They'll figure it out. All you had to do is play it out in your head and look at the options and see, like, okay, I have a player, I have an Mbappe, he's totally maxed out right now. We're way less than a year in. All these skins have expirations. At the end of those expirations, what are they going to do? Ding, 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 sell you more skins. You're not going to get rid of Mbappe and Van de Ven and Dumfries on one side and Udogie on the other and all the best players, Holland, whoever you have. You're going to have the best players, the best bench, and then that's it. So it was a system that was never meant for longevity, which shows me that STRIKERZ was just trying to get whatever money they could and scramble. Now, with these changes, what does that show? Well, for one, it shows that they released a system that they knew was going to end. You think in 9 years of development, they didn't sit down and map out what I just talked about, that it took me 5 minutes to map out and see, wait, this game is going to end very soon. There's nowhere for it to go. You think they didn't do that? They knew they were giving you skins that were going nowhere, players that were going to be maxed out and you had nowhere to go within months. So unfortunately, that's what you can expect from whatever changes are coming. Now, I haven't read this. I'm going to read this literally live on this video. But as you're reading through this, just like me, we have to look at those angles that STRIKERZ is going to look for to continue taking your money, to continue their scam while offering the lowest quality football they can, because that's the cheapest way to do it. That's the way to make the most profit. They've already leaned into those players that are lower skilled, that like all the shortcuts, because it's less for them to fix. It's less money. It's less worry they have on producing a good product to take your money, right? For example, when the header nonsense was going on, where just having a tall player would give you an automatic goal, you just would simply cross it and the taller player wins the header. So everyone went out and got a tall striker, the tallest of which was Luca, the Italian international. So what does STRIKERZ do? Do they remove that from the game right away? No, they release a special Luca card. That's exactly what their way of showing players, like, hey, ratty players, hey, lower skill players, we got your back, right? So already they are taking away from the integrity of an actual football game, because it's always been about making money. That's it. Now, a good development company will put the game first and release the best product and be so confident in how good that product will be that they know they're going to make money, because they should make money. I mean, they're giving us a great product. Not STRIKERZ, not UFL. It's always a scam. It's always the shortcut way, right? You see some of their community challenges, or go buy this stadium to get these rewards, and then you see the rewards they give out. The way they did everything was just always very scammy. It's just how it is. We can't help that's how they are. All we can do is either play the game or not. And for those who still play the game, I think it's silly, but I'm going to at least give you my take so you are as informed as you can be walking into this new setup if you're going to play this game. All right, what's new? A switch to collectible player cards from different sets and skins. Okay. Introducing legendary cards. New team link-up system. More streamlined and transparent mechanics. Don't care about that last part. That's just nonsense. We've seen from the start, whenever they release all updates, they'll give us vague stuff like that. More streamlined mechanics. Better. We fixed our defending. Okay, what? Our shooting's more dynamic. How? Our dribbling's better. Well, what do you mean? What did you do exactly? Right? more streamlined, transparent mechanics, but they don't give any list of what mechanics or what kind of fixes. So get that out of there. It might as well not even be in there. A switch to collectible player cards, so we know now it's not going to be skins. It's going to be like a Holland card and Mbappe and this. But when you see legendary cards, I know you get excited. Just remember one thing: player models, and then the name Pele or Ronaldinho or Ronaldo or any legendary name, that's not an actual legendary player in the game, right? They have to have an identity. And that's where EA Sports needs to continue to improve. That's where eFootball actually has them, which rightfully so, considering how much money eFootball charges week in and week out for you to gamble and get one of three or two of three or three out of three legendary players. I mean, you're talking upwards of $150. Some packs like $200. Neymar, Messi, Suarez. It was like 300 players in there. You can either buy a single player or 10 players at a time for roughly $9-10. So you do the math. And you can't pick who you get. Which brings me to my next thing, the Linkup system. A scam taken right out of Konami's book with eFootball. So when you're gambling for players or buying a certain player, right, even if STRIKERZ goes more of the route with the transfer market like EA Sports FC, which it looks like they're going to do, instead of spending money to get your in-game currency to then buy Mbappe, let's say, now with the link-up system, that Mbappe connects with Carvajal. I'm just making up whoever. And now if you play a long diagonal ball, Carval's got a better chance of connecting with Mbappe through, right? So they have a link-up system, or maybe it's just chemistry. It's not, because STRIKERZ isn't very advanced, so I don't know if they're going to do something like an in-play, like better passer. If they do, it's going to be glitchy as heck, but if they don't, it would be like, oh, when you have Carvajal and Mbappe, you get a plus 10 in every stat or something. So now it just urges you to buy more players with CP. Now you can't just buy Mbappe, you got to buy Carvajal, or maybe they do 3-player links or whatever. But the fact that they didn't call it chemistry, they literally took the name right from eFootball, I have to assume that's a scam copied from eFootball, right? And why do I say scam? Because the intent isn't to create better football on the pitch or create a chemistry system. The intent is do what it takes to get you to put more money in to get more players, right? Again, if Carvalho and Mbappe link, you can't just get Mbappe. You got to put more CP in to get, right? And based on the way STRIKERZ is operated, that's not a surprise at all, right? So what's changing? Reputation no longer limits transfers? Of course not, because they want you to keep spending or crashing your in-game currency or however they're going to do the currency now, right? They basically changed it to a system where now with legendary cards you have more CP you're going to want to buy to get more players. And they're going to now start releasing cards that continuously go up in skills and stats and everything, because that's what keeps you spending money. They realized too that the skin system had a dead end. This system doesn't. They can now be like eFootball. They can go up to 200 rated if they want. Oh, you got the 105 Holland. Here's 110 Holland. Oh, you got that. Here's 115 Holland. And he's got the new bullet power Superman header, you know. And all it is as a skill is he can now jump higher and his headers go faster, right? Because they released a bunch of skills like this finesse shot Mbappe, the top Mbappe skin had, where it went in just about every time, but all it was is a sped up finesse shot. It wasn't a new mechanic, a new animations to make the football more realistic or the gameplay feel better. It was literally speed up the mechanics, sell it as a skill, get more money for skins. And that's exactly what you're going to see here, just in a different way. Instead of skins, it'll be constant release of new players, which is what FC does. But the difference is there's so many game modes, so many rewards, you don't got to spend another dime on the game, and I don't. And still have a great team every year. Still play up to this point in the Open Cup, stuff like that. FC Pro. So the fact that I've spent just what I bought on the game in FC, but within the year that I played eFootball and UFL, it's been less than a year because I split my time between 3 games. I spent well over $1,000 in eFootball, right, on a regular account, and an RTG that just was so bad without actually buying players. And then on skins in UFL, probably around 300 or so. Very cheap, right? UFL no doubt had the easiest way to get the very best players in the game, but that's also why they had to introduce legendary cards, because players weren't just going to keep playing with that same top team that they've had now for months, right? Club reserve is now unlimited. Again, you can buy as many players as you want. Of course, they want to make it unlimited. And then no soft currency needed to restore energy after a match. That sounds like it's just a fix that was pissing everyone else off. They got rid of it. I don't really see an angle there. Maybe even the club reserve could maybe just be players were sick of only having 5-6 reserves, but I truly think that's a way for players to just keep spending, right? They don't ever run out of room. Oh, we can't get any more players. Gotta wait. No, they can keep getting players, buying packs, right? Let's go to the next page. Player card system. We're moving to a new player card system. The current system with footballers and card skins applied won't be used. Yeah, we saw that coming. Again, called it months ago. It was a dead-end system. They knew it was a dead-end system. They released it anyway. Footballers with unique or series skins will remain as they are, but you won't be able to remove a card skin anymore. So now say you have the Mbappe with the superstar skin or whatever you call it. He'll just keep that skin and those stats. All acquired and primary skills, as well as effects of the applied skins, will remain. So whatever, say you got a boost on tackling from a skin, that skin will remain on that player and that tackling will. All unused skins on your account will be converted into player cards of the base players. So then you'll just have the base players, okay? Player ratings will be updated in line with the stats of their base cards. All right, so now you keep the skin. You keep like the extra skills, but their stats are going to go to the base cards. Well, think about that. You spent all this time boosting those players to be maxed out, and now they're resetting them basically. Not basically, they are resetting them. So all that work, wasted. And it's not necessarily a hard reset, which they should have just considered that. You can exchange any remaining series skins for packs with cards in the lab. So now instead of skins, you'll get packs. You won't be able to buy new skin packs, okay, but you can still open your ones from storage, then trade them for players. To prepare for the update, make sure you've applied the skins. This way your club will transfer the new system in top shape. Total joke. So see, I got this Mbappe skin. He's going to keep all these skills and whatever, some of which came from the skin, but guess what? You see all those top stats, which boosted Mbappe from like a 91 to a 97? Those go down. He'll still be a 91, but those go down. All these players, you're talking like 81, 82. And think about that, though, right? Think about that. So are they going to do this every year? And if they don't, what happens? What's the first thing that happens? Well, my Mbappe goes back to 91. He keeps that skin. He keeps all these skills. Well, they're going to they know everyone has this, or a lot of people have this Mbappe. They're going to have to release the next Mbappe. He's going to have double those skills, or +5 on all the stats, or +10 or whatever. And then the next Mbappe will have more, right? And then for those of us, which is pretty much everyone I would think at this point, because it's been so long. I got sick of my same team in UFL months ago. So I know the players you stuck with this have to be, even the ratty players want to be a rat with different players. So now you'll have legendary players to do the same thing. But they don't have a system, right? In eFootball, their system is they're just going to keep moving up. 107 players now. It used to be 100. Eventually it'll be 120 all the way up. Down the road it'll be 200. By then, everyone will catch on way before that. And, eFootball's headed for the garbage just like UFL. But until then, that's all it'll do is you'll just keep raising overall ratings. There's no limit. And I'm sure Strikers and UFL have taken note of that, right? Because the whole max out player ratings thing, look where it got them, right? It got them, around less than a year. I can't remember when UFL came out, but I said a year. I can't remember. It's probably like 8-9 months maybe. I could be off. I think it's around that. But either way, already having a game where players are just like, what next? That's a bad sign this early. So now we have this system. They scrapped everything. And you're just going to keep buying players. that move up in stats, but it's not like FC with the hard reset, because once you buy players, you keep them, right? Well, that's the problem. That's why people say, oh, you get to keep the players in eFootball. FC, you work hard for everyone, you lose them. That's the whole point. You buy the game, and then the skill is build your team all the way to the very top, see where you end up, and you compete on along the way and see how you do against others as you compete and use this team that you're building and continuously moving up the ladder, right? That's what the skill is. In eFootball, yeah, you keep all your players, but guess what? They keep re-releasing them, and they do it with now Schneider. I got a Schneider. Again, it hasn't even been a year. In eFootball, I got a Schneider that was great. A few months later, they release a new Schneider. Now he's got double the special skills, higher stats, and he's got the new Linkup play, which UFL's adding. Where, for instance, if I go get Dumfries, that's fine, but guess what? If I get Dembele with him, I'll have a special long ball I can play over the top, and Dembele will run in. So now if I put money in to get Dumfries, it's not going to be good enough. I want Dembele, or vice versa. So they just basically connect players. And who's to say they won't do a connect with 3 players or whatever? And you better believe it's going to include going into this store, wherever it is, and buying these bad boys. That's going to be a big part of it. Oh, you can earn rewards. Oh, yeah, 1 CP a game. It's going to be terrible rewards. It's going to make it to where you have to go buy currency. And then you're going to want to use that currency to get multiple players or several players for the new quote-unquote link up. And they're going to make it powerful to where if you don't get all the players with it, you're going to suffer, right? So that's that. Watch out for the scamminess. It's like I said already. I called this months ago, and sure enough, it happens. And for those who are wondering, okay, well, you said the game's going to be shutting down. As soon as STRIKERZ stops making money and stops having ideas that will make them money on microtransactions, as soon as that stops, the game's gone, right? As soon as players get so sick of the gameplay that fixing it to keep players would outweigh the profit they get from this new system, as soon as that happens, boom, they're gone. Because they're a money first, then game development company. And not every development company is like that. And even though EA Sports is doing it for money, because a lot of players left last year, stopped buying packs for sure, including myself. I never bought packs, but I just stopped playing. And that's the beauty of FC. But the point that I'm trying to make is that even though they're doing it for greed, they lean towards fixing the game in every way the player base overall wanted. They got all the feedback and started going one by one, and now every single change has been addressed, right? So whether they did it for the right reason or not, that's the proper way to approach a football game. UFL with STRIKERZ, we haven't seen it. eFootball with Konami, we haven't seen it. So time will tell where this game goes, but the way STRIKERZ works, the way they worked out the whole skin system, just be ready to spend money, or be ready to get asked to spend money if you're going to play this game. Don't get your hopes up because you read legendary cards coming, right? There's so much more to a game than that. And then you got to see what these legendary stars look like, because the player models I'm not worried about. Putting the player name Pele, Ronaldinho, I'm not worried about. The gameplay, the ID these players have, right? So if STRIKERZ doesn't produce legendary players that are somewhat tied to how whatever the player is, how they played in real life, similar to EAFC and eFootball, even though I believe eFootball actually does that part better, and rightfully so, with how much they charge to get these legendary players, EAFC still has it down to a point where you can see, okay, Ronaldinho's Ronaldinho, Ronaldo's Ronaldo. Some players they just botched, but they at least have it somewhat down. If UFL just releases the player model and their play style has nothing to do with the real life player, everyone's going to catch on to that. It's going to be a flop. Now, with that being said, I really want to hear your feedback on this. Do you think it's just another scammy way for STRIKERZ to take people's money since the skins was kind of running out of steam? Do you think this is a system that will work? Do you have any hope for this game? Are you still playing? If not, how come? If you are still playing, What makes you like the game? What is it about UFL that keeps you there over eFootball or FC, for instance? I always like hearing your feedback, whether you agree with me or not, so please leave that. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if this video was helpful or you enjoyed it, please smash the like button. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Peace out.